This is the Glitch Panopticon Season 3 Chapter 4. In this episode, we will be talking about overlapping identities within the Panopticon. Now, there are vertical alters, created by parallel worlds where we are the same but for some slight difference. And there are horizontal or lateral alters, created by the overlap of identity, but for the projection, in the same space. One is created within the Panopticon, the other is created within parallel worlds outside of it. In this episode, we will be talking about lateral alters. Lateral alters rely upon the alteration of our perceptions. As our appearance is simulated within the Panopticon, consciousness miscible within any body as placeholder, individuals can coexist within the same cell or spatial space, while having completely parallel lives. In other words, our bodies can be carriers of multiple identities, some which may be completely different from who we think we are. The projections of the Panopticon permit dual identities residing within the same spatial space, by altering our perceptions of first, who we are, and second, where we are. In other words, the technology of the Panopticon, as a reversed psychic telescope, permits the inclusion of multiple personalities within the same spatial space, described by a single digital address. It is as if there are 2 or 3 or 4 people living in your house, leading completely different and non-intersecting lives. Using the same cell phone, with parallel accounts. For example, I may believe that I am an Indian descent male, when in fact, my alter is a Caucasian male. Both of us could use the same cell phone. Could work different jobs, at different times, sleep at different times, and in every other way never intersect. While our perceptions are altered of our appearance, the consciousness is carried in a single body, albeit with non-overlapping input and outputs. This follows from the technology of a psychic telescope. In that, substitution of the receiver for subject relies upon a similar principle. But in the case of lateral alters, dual monologues are transmitted to the same receiver, producing bifurcation of identity and consciousness. In effect, a psychic telescope can be used to place one consciousness in a dissociative state, during periods of isolation. That consciousness may believe he is sitting at home, or playing with his cat, or watching television, when in fact, his body is being used elsewhere by the other lateral alter. The Panopticon is a device effective at the manipulation of consciousness. It is the manner by which overlap between subject and receiver occurs, as well as transmitter and subject. I do not know how many lateral alters are maintained in a given body, but it is clear that we all have at least 2 spatially localized alters. Using the same phone, parallel accounts, in the same body. The Panopticon saves industrial resources by dividing our bodies amongst our alters. By limiting our intake of food. By building upon the natural patterns in our behavior to produce non-intersecting parallel selves. Thus, it is clear that engagement with the outside world may occur through one alter, the other, or both. One may think one is engaging with the external world, when in fact one is a passenger to another's consciousness. Signs of this can be observed as follows. Have you ever found an account linked to your account that wasn't yours? Or to your phone? Have you ever met someone who seemed to know you, but you had no idea who they were? Have you ever found a glitch or repetitious pattern in the world around you? It is from this principle that we see that the use of glitching techniques, as outlined in How to Create a Glitch in the Matrix, is essential to prevent the substitution of another. Major life events like loss of employment signify the reduction of selfhood to a passenger role, making one a subsidiary consciousness within one's own body. In effect, one exists in a dissociative space, a kind of dream reality, created out of the Panopticon. Whilst some other uses one's body, one's vessel, one's vehicle, one's phone, to live their own life. Lateral alters are a pernicious manifestation of the Panopticon. A design which creates a hierarchical relationship between residual identities. It beings with the reversal of a psychic lens, the projection of multiple monologues into a receiver. These dual monologues present animate the conscious mind in a bifurcated fashion, presenting 2 distinct perceptual experiences in parallel. Lateral alters are the reason that the psychic telescope at the center of the Panopticon must be destroyed. It is essentially a resource-saving measure, but ultimately reduces us to a solipsistic reality, contingent upon our compliance with the agenda. That's the end of the podcast for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe.